Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Charles Sebastian, and welcome you guys to another episode of the Dreamers Pro Show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, and we give you guys a fresh perspective on things. And we see today we got a hell of a show for you guys. But before we get into it, please make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel. Also, if you want today's full show, it's streaming for free on the Dreamers Pro podcast. We have pinned below. Anyway, let me get into this content here. I'm dealing with a cough here today, so excuse me. Excuse me. So, as you guys know, I believe that this is the cupcake era. Some people feel a way about it. Some people agree. Some people disagree. Some people think, nah, this is the greatest era ever. I don't believe so. I'm a fan of balanced basketball. I like offense, but I also like defense. I like to see a little bit of resistance on the basketball court. I don't like to see a three-point shootout every single game with no resistance. I like to see defense. And given the fact that teams are attempting more threes, means that there are more opportunities to score more points. The pace has increased. The possessions have increased. So therefore, the game is highly tilted towards offense. Some people love it. I just don't. I prefer more balance. That's why I like players traditionally that are two-way players. Jordan is a two-way guy. Kobe's a two-way guy. Kawhi Leonard is a two-way guy. I like guys that could score the ball and have great offensive packages, but they could also defend. That's just me. You don't have to be that way. That's just me. But that's the first thing. But I still think this is the cupcake era. And apparently, I'm not the only one that feels this way about this current era in the NBA. Another person that feels this way is Shaquille O'Neal. Now, why does Shaq feel this way? As you guys know, last year we just finished witnessing the worst All-Star game in the history of the NBA. That was last year's crop. It was so bad that the Denver Nuggets head coach Mike Malone said that was the worst basketball game he had ever seen in his life. This is the greatest era ever, but the coach is saying when you have an amalgamation of all of the greatest players at that time playing in a basketball game, in a pickup game, they produced the worst basketball game in the history of basketball. Those things don't really compute properly, but nevertheless, people still say that they do. Another thing that some fans have been lamenting about is that these current stars, the big names, don't want to participate in the slam dunk contest. And now they're going to the G League and getting other players to come into the slam dunk contest and basically save it. That's how bad. That's how far we've fallen, as a product. We went from dudes like Dominique Wilkins, Julius Erving, Spud Webb, Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, Vince Carter, Tracy McGrady, Steve Francis, Jason Richardson, and so many other players. Blake Griffin, Amari Stoudemire, Dwight Howard, all of these dudes going into the slam dunk contest and really making Saturday the event. And now players can't even seem to be bothered. And it seems like Shaquille O'Neal, who's one of the all-time greatest players of all time, even he is calling out these modern day guys for not participating. But before we even get into Shaq's comments, this video is brought to you by our sponsor, PrizePicks. PrizePicks is really simple. Instead of just selecting a team, you just select two or more players, pick more or less their projected stats, and then you place your entry. For example, this week, I'm selecting two entries. Stephen Curry for more than 25 points, and then I got Anthony Davis for more than 2 blocks, and Damian Lillard for more than 4 3-pointers made. PrizePicks is also the only daily sports platform with an injury insurance policy. So for example, if you have a player who gets injured in the first half and doesn't return to the second half, that player gets automatically rebooted. What I also love about PrizePicks is that it offers weekly promotions like Taco Tuesdays. Each Tuesday, PrizePicks discounts select player projections up to 25% to provide even more value. So go to prizepicks.com/CLNS and use code CLNS for a first deposit match of up to $100. That's go to prizepicks.com/CLNS, use code CLNS for a first deposit match of up to $100. And once again, once you support this sponsor, you're supporting this channel. Thank you. So let me get into what this article had to say. It says Shaquille O'Neal and Julius Erving rip modern NBA stars for avoiding the slam dunk contest. The article continues on. In a recent episode of The Big Podcast, NBA legend Julius Erving gave his take on why today's players are so reluctant to participate in the dunk contest and why even replacing the event with a one-on-one tournament will pose a serious problem in today's game. You won't get all the top players to be involved in it, said Erving. There's a whole bunch who won't do it. Their egos are not going to allow it. And that's why you don't always get the greatest dunkers in the dunk contest, because it's about brand now. They don't want to do anything to diminish their brand. It then continues on. They're afraid of competition, said O'Neal of Modern Players. It's a shame that our biggest stars are afraid of competition. I started watching the dunk contest because of this man. After he left, Dominique and Mike took over. My thing with that is they don't pay homage and show respect. I wouldn't be able to make $40 million without him. So that's what Shaq, excuse me, and Dr. J had to say. What are my thoughts? My thoughts are this. Do you know that the current era dudes listening to this, listen to what they said, just went right over their head? Be like, what? What are they talking about? Paying homage, carrying the game forward, paying respect to them. What does that mean? Bro, is that going to lead me to get a bust down? Broly, like, what? I mean, am I going to be getting some serious paper off of that? Then why am I doing it? How does it add any value to my, excuse me, to my bottom line? And that's the problem, man. That's the problem, but that's where we are. Excuse me. That's where we are. This is the current state of affairs in the NBA. And the sad part is some people love it. And actually the saddest part is that older guys in their early 30s, mid 30s, 40s, you got some of them twerking it up for the younger generation. These dudes that are afraid to be their age, afraid to show I got a gray beard. Let me go get some paint to paint. Like, yo, bro, it's cool to be your age, son. There's nothing wrong with it. There's absolutely nothing wrong with being a man in 35, and you ain't got to look like the young boys. You had your time. Let them live. You had your moment. Stop trying to live your second childhood, to quote Nas, right? So to me, man, this is the era that we live in. This is why I'm not a fan of this current era, to be totally honest with you. Like, come on, like, they're not above it. If Jordan and Kobe Bryant and all of these guys weren't above it, then you guys aren't above it either. And we're going to remember them way more than you dudes. That's the reality. That's the irony of it all. These guys' names will ring bells for decades longer than these dudes that are trying to protect their brands, because at the end of the day, fans are not going to remember you for how much money you made. They're going to remember you for the memories that you gave them, not for how much money you made in your career. Now, some guys will say, I don't care. I'm here to get my bag and that's it. And to me, I'm like, okay, if that's what you guys feel, so be it. So what I want to know from you guys, what do you think about what Shaq and Dr. J had to say? Do you think it was fair, or do you disagree with what they had to say? Whatever you guys think, please leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section. We catch you on the next show. Peace.